listening to The Review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Review. It's the Online Sports Guys College Football Podcast, where we talk about the weekend that was and look ahead to the weekend upcoming in college football. It's one of two podcasts for college football you can get here on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network. The other one being the X at midweek, where Brother John and Brother Wilkie talk about some of the newsmakers and things going on of importance over the course of the week in college football. But we start here, and we'll jump right in. A lot of interesting games this week, some a little closer than expected, some not so close at all. We'll start off probably with the marquee game of the week, the Ohio State Buckeyes traveling to Happy Valley to take on Penn State in the same, I guess the definition of madness here, because the results ended up being exactly the way they've been pretty much for the last, decade?
Ain't happy now for the home team, is it?
Ohio State gets the win 20-13 over Penn State, a team that traditionally ends up in the top 5 or top 10 here in the first half of the season. And then it's up losing.
See Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame got theirs out of the way early this year.
Yeah.
Little game, Franklin.
I'm going to defer. I'm deferring.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the prettiest game, but Ohio State did what they had to do in order to fend off the Nittany Lions, including quite a defensive stand late in the third quarter.
Igbenogsen's interception, that was just filthy. Franklin's still got to be crying about that. I feel bad for your stunt double, Phil. I thought with the way Penn State's line plays and with the big shuffle up front for Ohio State, I was kind of surprised by who they put at guard. I mean, he was last year's starter at center out of necessity, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. You got Donovan kicking out to tackle, and those two are used to playing next to each other, and that really showed. You could see it was a lot less awkward than last week when they were shuffling the line, and they're giving them a little bit of help with tight ends and running backs chipping there on the left. But my goodness, what a game! And that could have been a bigger spread. There's a fumble. Ohio State loses the ball going down. The only touchdown Penn State scored was a terrible pass.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give that quarterback credit, though. He opens up the post-game press conference by saying this was the worst game I've played this season, and owning it.
Well,
it's refreshing.
Yes, and here's your trivia question for the morning. The record of Keegan-Michael Key's stunt double against TOSU. Any guesses?
I want to say 0-8 or 0-9.
No, he got one.
He's got one.
1-10?
There you go. 1-10. 1-10. 10, which is
so can we hashtag that blind squirrel?
1-10. 10. 9 more than one. One win in 11 tries in this roundup.
That was that one CZ one to make sure he didn't get fired, so he was still there for us.
That's very Malzahnian of him.
Yeah, it does beg a pretty big question here, because Penn State always has those aspirations of being a national championship contender, but they can't ever seem to get over that hurdle. Do they make a move and try to find somebody to get them over that hurdle, or do they just keep trying to jump over it with what they got?
James Franklin buyout. Searching on the Wikipedias here. No, because as of 20 hours ago, as posted by our friends at USA Today, as of December 1st, coming up in 30 days, has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 29 days. The buyout for James Franklin at Penn State, $56 million and 2/3. That ain't even Mike Norvellian territory, and that's still a big number.
Yep, not happening.
Not happening.
All right, move
Nope.
on. Oh,
I gotta give him credit. He was getting heckled as he was leaving the game, heading towards the tunnel, and a fan, one particular fan, was yelling stuff at him, and he stopped. And he looked at him. He's like, "Okay, if you're man enough to talk, are you man enough to say your name?" And the guy put his tail between his legs and walked back up the stairs.
Wow.
If you're gonna talk, talk. Put your name on it.
yeah,
Otherwise, shut up.
yeah.
I'm not a Franklin fan, but he was man enough to stand there and address the guy, and the guy did not want to continue that conversation.
It's like Tuco in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You're gonna shoot, don't talk. You know, basically how it runs.
Like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They're all. I know.
He had his moment, and he
I'm gonna
just
call you out. Wait, you talk back to me.
Mm-hmm.
ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Oh my God, consequences.
Exactly.
Way too old to be a millennial, so.
Yes.
But I digress.
You got the Duke. You got the Duke. You got to digress. You're now at 7-1, and you're going to flip flop with Penn State in the top 4. So I think that you're going to be number 3 by the time this is done.
Yeah, if they were. So,
This week, I'm not saying by the done,
no,
but I mean
see, our one loss isn't against an SEC team, which counts as a win everywhere else. So they'll stay.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them sneak up possibly to number 2 if for only the reason the number 2 ranked Georgia Bulldogs won their game against Florida, but it wasn't exactly the most impressive performance anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, but it's against it's the SEC, so it's just different.
Georgia quarterback Carson Beck did throw for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. The Gators, after DJ Langway got hurt, pulling his hamstring in the second quarter, couldn't really muster a whole heck of a lot on offense.
Nope.
And Georgia did just enough to get the win. They moved to 7-1, 5-1 in the SEC, and they've got a couple of big games coming up ahead of them.
God, how many SEC teams have one loss?
Almost all of them.
In conference. Almost all of them.
Sorry.
Georgia, ATM, Tennessee, Texas, LSU, they all have one loss. Vandy, Ole Miss, Alabama have 2 losses. So that takes you halfway through the conference with someone's got at least 1 conference loss or 2 conference losses.
God, I can't wait to see those tiebreakers at the end of the year.
Woo!
Somebody with an advanced mathematics degree is going to have to figure out the tiebreakers when it comes to that. Speaking of teams on a roll, the number 1 team in the country this week, going into this week, the Oregon Ducks, they traveled to the Big House in Michigan, took care of business there, 38-17 in a game that really probably wasn't that close.
Oh.
The Ducks, pretty much everybody that should have done something, including quarterback Dylan Gabriel, did what they needed to do in order to get a big win.
I liked getting an extra touchdown at the end of the game.
I mean,
why? Because they could.
Yeah.
Well, that, and there's a bunch of tiebreaker rules. One of them's points in conference.
Yeah, see, this is life in the B1G. And when Michigan is not the Michigan, and they're more Michigan.
Yeah, and if you're Michigan and you have no morals for the past 3 years, then you can't really complain about somebody doing that to you.
5-4 now, 3-3 in the B1G. Oregon right now 9-0 for their first 9.
Yeah, we're en route at this point in the Big 1G for a final that you probably would not have predicted at the beginning of the season in the conference championship game. If they stop play right now, your 2 teams in the conference championship, Indiana and Oregon.
Yeah. By the way, your recruiting news for the show. Juju Lewis, the number 2 recruit in the country, quarterback, Carrollton High School, who upgraded to a senior this season. He reclassified. I was trying to filibuster till I could figure out what the word was. He is a junior under normal circumstances, reclassified to a senior this year because of the quarterback recruiting pool. has been locked into Southern Cal ever since he was a freshman. NIL deal reportedly at 2.1. He visited Colorado this past week and apparently is also going to be visiting Indiana in short order. Signing day's a month away, so we have our first round of Palace intrigue with a top 5 recruit that involves the University of Indiana, and I would never have thought that I would have had that in a sentence in recent memory.
Speaking of Indiana, they are one of only a handful of undefeated teams in college football right now. They roll as they travel to Michigan State and beat the Spartans 47-10. Curtis Rourke came back from his injury and had a huge game, 263 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Oh, boy.
Mr. Rourke.
Mr. Rourke. Mr. Rourke.
Playing like on Fantasy Island, too.
Yeah, really. Well, Michigan State right now, 4-5. It is not good. It is not good in either Ann Arbor or East Lansing. And I know that the rest of the B1G is boo-hooing in a corner over that one.
Yeah. At least East Lansing had a big turnover, and they're heading in the right direction.
And you had it was a 10-0 lead, by the way, for Michigan State in that game. 10-0 after one quarter.
Yeah, but
then Indiana scored the final 47 points over 3 quarters and got it taken care of.
As they are wont to do.
Yes. Go Kurt Cignetti. Woo-woo.
Talk about a turnaround.
Hell of a hire.
That was. Absolutely.
Arguably the best hire in college football this past offseason.
Okay, so, all right. So I know that we usually on a weekly basis sit there and look at the OSG Sports end of the year party where we give awards and we welcome folks to our
coach of the year.
Yeah. So is Cignetti coach of the year in your minds?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how many players did he lose? You know, all that turnover on staff. You always lose players when you flip coaching staffs, and then he just came in and hit the ground running and are already better. I mean, who expected them to turn it like this?
What he's done just in 9 weeks of the season with Indiana is nothing short of a miracle.
Take it and run. Love every minute of it.
Yeah. You love seeing a team that's never really been considered that serious of team in college football. All of a sudden they come out of nowhere and they are legit.
Yeah. I mean, the way that's rolling, even if they don't make the Big Ten championship game, they're not large.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't, they stay on this path.
It was projected that they would be like first out, but then you had all the losses that happened this weekend, and they would end up being probably the 12, if not an 11. And it would create an interesting projected matchup of Indiana going to DKR to take on Texas in the opening round.
Wouldn't that be a thing?
Oh, boy.
Speaking of undefeated teams, Miami Hurricanes, the highest ranked undefeated team besides the Oregon Ducks. Miami now 9-0, 5-0 in the ACC after they outscored Duke. And John just went away.
I did on purpose. I refused to discuss the University of Coral Gables with my face on camera.
I thought he was about to say an Eddie Murphy word and paused his whole transmission from the headquarters there.
Oh, man.
He just wants to make it hard on me editing this, moving the logo around.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Duke hung with the Hurricanes for the first half.
I don't want to know about Duke hanging with anybody, all right?
They took a 21-17 lead into the half.
And then they didn't.
And then they got outscored 36.
Duke is Duke.
They're on TV more times of reruns of Leave It to Beaver.
But props to Duke. They're doing a good job. Yeah. They're not a bad football team. Miami, they look like a team out of the Big 12 from a few years ago, all offense and no defense.
Yes, and the quarterback that was denied entry to Auburn because Hugh Freeze said he was good. I got Peyton Thorne. Cam Ward threw for 4 spins yesterday and 5 touchdowns. You like that?
Freeze do a good job defending the Hurricanes.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Just 4 spins and 5 scores for Cam Ward yesterday.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. Tennessee played Kentucky. Kentucky traveled down to Knoxville, took the loss. Tennessee gets the win 28-18.
Well, but the
Not much.
thing is, I mean, Kentucky had the halftime lead. It was 10-7 at the half, and it took some Josh Heupel, I'm sure, hopping up and down and yelling at his team in the locker room to get things turned around, and they did 21-8 in the second half, but they were down at the half. So the Stoopsian troubles continue as Kentucky's now 3-6.
Um, Here's a big SEC upset, one that not a whole lot of people saw coming.
Oh.
Texas A&M takes the trip to Columbia to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks and leave tail between their legs after South Carolina beats them 44-20.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
That's big Gamecock energy.
yes, it is. It is absolutely true.
A&M was the only undefeated SEC team going into this week. They no longer are that team.
Well, and it was one of those, and I think we always talk about signature wins for teams, and I think that this is probably one of those for Shane Beamer because, Shane, after last year when they were below 500, didn't make a bowl. I know that a lot of folks were sitting there saying, okay, I don't know what's going on. And they pulled out all the stops last night. They broke out the old 2001 Space Odyssey intro with a darkened Williams-Brice Stadium there at the fairgrounds. They went old school and took a whooping to turn the ATM machine over and grabbed it with the big old hook and ripped it off its moorings at the bank. I mean, it was not even that close.
That is a tough place to play.
Mm-hmm.
Super small field. Everything's packed in. It feels like everybody's on top of you during the.
We like to call that intimate.
Yes, and you know that after a game like this, that the resident horticulturalist at the fairgrounds is ruining what happened last night because the hedge in the end zone was destroyed with everybody running onto the field. So you know that the groundskeepers and the resident horticulturalists are looking at that thing going, man, what are we going to have to do? The next home game for South Carolina, it's going to be interesting to see how much of that hedge actually exists and how much of it literally just ends up getting cut off because it got run over last night.
Good game by South Carolina quarterback Lenoris Sellers, who went 13 for 27, 244, and a couple of touchdowns, and also ran for 106 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Nice win for the Gamecocks. They moved 3-3 in the SEC, 5-3 overall, and likely to be a bowl team before the season is done.
Yep.
Speaking of upsets, we got a couple of upsets here in the middle of the top 10. Texas Tech gets the win over Iowa State in Ames, 23-22 in a nail biter of a game.
Did not anticipate this one. Texas Tech now 6-3.
Mm-hmm. And then
it's almost like somebody's in there just trying to screw up people's parlays.
That I would agree.
And then a couple of other upsets here. Louisville travels to Death Valley and takes care of business 33-21. They down the Clemson Tigers.
Not that close.
I was going to say in a game that really, quite honestly, wasn't that close.
No. Cole Klubnik threw for 228-1. And Phil, he's a bad Maffa. Ran for 171, but they didn't do anything else. Pretty much. I mean, it was a rough.
Dabo running out with the L flag again.
Yeah, and so 17-7 at the half, and I mean, it only scored one touchdown in 3 quarters.
Clemson fans trying the Texas plan of throwing things onto the field during the game.
Classy.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Classy. No, did not work. Then the next upset, this one was one I did not see coming.
Nope, and that's Willie Fritz and the Houston Cougars. They take down Kansas State 24-19 in some Big 12 action.
Dun, 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 dun. Talk about the Cougars. That song is in my brain from when Houston and Ed Oliver beat Florida State in the Peach Bowl, and it has been there ever since. It has stuck in my brain as one of the most annoying songs ever, rent-free in my head, and now it's rent-free in the heads of folks in Manhattan, Kansas. And I think this game was delayed because of How do we, if anybody got 40 cubits of wood and you needed it in Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas, Saturday was definitely the day for that to happen. But yeah, it was a game that took a while. A lot of games took a while in the state of Texas, but did not see this one coming. Big win for Willie Fritz, now at 4-5.
Marty just shakes his head.
Did not anticipate.
I don't know. I'm not sure who's more surprised, my wife or myself.
Hey,
We're going over the games after, watching the roundup, all the highlights. We're just like, wait, what?
wait, what? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not a betting man.
Yep. SMU knocks Pitt from the ranks of the unbeaten, 48-25, an easy win for for the Pony Express.
Mm-hmm.
The top 25 Pony Express.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ole Miss,
Sherwood. That's a pretty name.
Ole Miss drops a 63 spot on Arkansas. We don't need to get into that. Jackson Dart, 6 touchdown passes.
Big
Army remains undefeated, guys. They take down the Air Force 20-3 without their starting quarterback.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's Air Force went into the game at 1-6, and Army's now at 8-0. Right now, obviously Army Navy is going to determine commander in chief, but the loss by Navy hurts Navy's chances of sticking in the top 25. So, big win for Army, great win for Coach Monken, and once again, 8-0, 5-0 at home, and your starting quarterback runs for 158-2 in that offense.
Illinois drops from the ranks of the ranked teams. Yeah, Minnesota rolls in there, takes care of business, 25-17.
That was probably a job saver for PJ Fleck.
Indeed. And then moving on down, the game we were talking about before we started recording here on the OSG College Football Podcast.
Buffalo beating Akron?
How about the Fighting Diego Pavias with their second straight win over the Auburn Tigers? And this time 17-7.
And the third straight win for Diego Pavia over Hugh Freeze.
Go, Diego, go.
Go, Diego, go.
And Auburn's got a big problem on their hands.
Yeah, they do. And it's the damn buyout for Hugh Freeze. I'm sorry, but you've got to actually win games and be above 500 to look like that you spent all night studying. Because Hugh Freeze comes out every game. They've got the whole freeze warning video that plays, which is, just dumb in the first place. I get it, but it's just because of what is going on. To play that video is somewhat galling. And he comes out and he's got the 3-day-old, Sonny Crockett stubble, and he's got the headset on, and he's looking like he's been all haggard. Oh, what am I going to do to make sure that we do our best? Well, you ain't doing much, because you and Florida State, once again, and Florida State has 2 less wins than Auburn, by the way, you had 201 yards of total offense. So what do you do if you're Hugh Freeze? All right, so here's question of the floor. Okay. If you're Hugh Freeze and you put up a number on Florida, you get a big win on the road, and you let Jarquez Hunter run all over the Florida Gators, what do you think you're supposed to do in the next game to try and get a win against what could be perceived as a lesser opponent?
Just rinse and repeat?
You would think.
But I would say, to be honest, I would say retire, but that's what he has regressed from his time at Liberty, and he's just completely regressed. Ole Miss, Liberty to here. He has regressed as a coach. Oh, it's not good when Liberty's using it.
Throw the ball 30 times.
No, and so, but he looks disinterested when he comes out publicly and throws players under the bus. When he comes out publicly and says, calling plays for 4 hours on a Saturday is hard, and you give Jarquez Hunter, Marty, hold up 2 fingers for those watching on the video side. I'm going to hold up 10 fingers. That is the sum total of touches Jarquez Hunter had on Saturday. 12.
For 50 yards.
2 in the second half. They are an easy team to beat. Stop the running game, force your quarterback, Peyton Thorne, apparently God's gift to quarterbacking according to Hugh Freeze, because he didn't want Cam Ward to come on campus. Peyton Thorne was his answer at quarterback. Peyton Thorne should not be your answer at quarterback. 12 touches total for Jarquez Hunter, and the buyout is too big. So you are stuck, Auburn. You are absolutely stuck. I love the fact that you hired Jared Benko from Georgia Southern. No offense, Phil. It's a great hire in the front office for one of your massive 9-title athletic department hires. But the buyouts are too big in Auburn and at Florida State, which right now is at $63 million, and it's 85% of the remaining money on the Mike Norvell contract. That's what's due. And we lost to North Carolina 35-11. This is a house. This is a studio space that has the sum total of 4 wins. 4-14 in one house. And I blame Hugh Freeze for this because he ran it up on Alabama A&M early in the year, and now we are paying the price for it. We have a gray cloud where I need Jobu and the rum and the cigars and everything, and maybe sacrificing a live chicken to get the pox off of this studio space. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, the better story. Well, before I say the better story here,
It's all a better story because it ain't winning here.
It's a clear case of be careful what you wish for because it may not be what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
The better story here, Vanderbilt with the win becomes
bowl eligible. That's why we are sporting Vanderbilt stadium space, because if we sported Vanderbilt gear space, we might get in trouble with the particular conference. That's why we're supporting the Vanderbilt Stadium and its new, hoping to be expanded capacities and the fencing to keep folks from throwing stuff onto the field. Mazel tov to you, Vanderbilt, for becoming bowl eligible for the first time in 6 years. I love what Clark Lee's doing. Look, when Jerry Kill gets to swag surf in a locker room, when they're shotgunning Sprite at the end of a game when they win.
That was my favorite highlight.
They're shotgunning Sprite in the locker room. That is what you get with Go Diego, Go 24. I'm all for it. We should give Diego Pavia the OSG Sports Player of the Year award anyway, if it's not Ashton Genty, or we just hand out regionals. And Diego Pavia is our South Regional OSG Sports Player of the Year. We send you a 6-pack of Sprite. That's what we do.
The best part
it's
about
a Heisman Trophy where he's holding a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
Bottle Mountain Dew instead.
Yeah.
Or opening a can of Sprite. Arguably, the best part about it to me is the fact that one more win for Vanderbilt and Clark Lee will have equaled the amount of wins that James Franklin had in one season, and it may be the best record that team's had in decades.
Hey, look, like I said, Clark Lee, Barton Simmons, bringing in Jerry Kill and the new. Just look, it's Las Cruces East. I get it. I don't care. I'm loving every minute of it. First time that they've beaten Alabama and Auburn since 1955. You're bowl eligible for the first time in 6 seasons. Keep rocking the house. That's all I can say.
Likeable team you can get behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Here's one for you guys, and it's stunning only because of the amount of points they scored. Would you believe it if I told you that Iowa scored 42 points in a win over Wisconsin?
What happens when you go
For the year?
Without Brian Ferentz?
In a game.
In a game. They scored 42 in a game. You take out the less
Were those all offensive scores?
I'll find out. But the less Ferentzes you have, I think the more points you score. I think that's the proportionality that's attached here. Caleb Johnson scored for 3 and ran for 135.
Yeah, I think that helped quite a bit. And speaking of teams who are underachieving, got to talk about this one. USC falls to 4-5 on the season after losing to Washington up in Seattle. And I know Wilkie talks about traditional power teams out west.
Ooh.
Man, I think Lincoln Riley might be in it a bit over his head.
Oh, boy. And if he's going to lose Juju Lewis because of him not wanting to go to Southern Cal, which I wouldn't blame him, that ain't going to look good on signing day in a month. That's just wow.
There.
Woo. Man.
Supposedly Riley has clamped down on media access.
Yes, he has. He absolutely has, and it is just ridiculous.
Because, of course, that's the reason why they're not good.
Yeah, he doesn't want tough questions, and I think he was at one point. I think he was trying to pull credentials from student-run publications on campus for their access. Hang on just a second. Lincoln Riley buyout.
Yeah, all because they're questioning his skill and the performance of his team, which are all legitimate questions.
Oh, but we can't have that, though. No, we can't have that. According to Football Scoop, report, and this is Pete Thamel from the 4-letter, Lincoln Riley's USC buyout is, quote, around $90 million. $90 million.
Enjoy him, folks in Los Angeles, because he's going to be there for a while.
Overpriced
That's why,
buyouts as I wear a Cleveland Browns hoodie. Ugh.
Yeah, that's true.
that's why throwing around stupid money on a coach is
That's
exactly.
why, well, see, stupid money gets you stupid prizes, and stupid prizes right now means you're below 500 in each of the three examples that we've had here in the A block.
And not looking like you're going to get much better.
Nope.
You're going to start seeing clauses that include what your record is.
Yes.
You know, we'll see if that happens. Um, guys, what do you say we wrap it up here in the first block of the show? Oh, wait.
There's more.
There is one more thing.
Oh,
UConn Huskies are going bowling this year.
as an independent, yeah, good on you.
They
Congratulations.
got their 6th win of the season, beating Georgia State 34-27. I'll say this.
They're going pinstriping.
Yeah. Our old friend Jim Mora, while he may not be the most likable guy in the universe, appears to be pretty good coach and engineering somewhat of a turnaround for the Huskies.
Picking up after Randy Edsall's mess and Edsall version 2.0, but he's being left alone. I mean,
Talk about living up to a name, Edsall.
Yes. I mean, Jim Mora is being left alone to his devices. It's like, okay, do your thing. What do you need? Working with the resources that he has available. And it's just, he's doing it quietly, because how many people are sitting there going, yeah, I want to see what's going on in Storrs, Connecticut on a weekly basis in football? Not many.
No.
So Jim Mora is doing really well. And like I said, I think he's going to go pinstriping. We'll see what happens. But, equal mazel tovs to Jim Mora and UConn.
Good on him.
Indeed, and a big shout out to Hawaii for getting the win over Fresno State on a touchdown pass, with Braden Shager throwing a touchdown pass with 15 seconds left to beat Fresno State.
Need to win 2 of their next 3 to get bowl eligible and get to 6. So it's going to be coming out of lane 8 to do it. But it's always fun when Hawaii is bowl eligible and they get to host a bowl game.
Woo! And with that, I will say it's time to wrap up the first half of the show. When we come back in the second half of the review, we'll talk about the upcoming week's schedule, and we will talk about everybody's favorite conversation piece, college football on a budget. It's where we figure out what games you could go see for the price roughly of a soda and enjoy some good college football. All that and more when we return for the second half of the review. You are listening to the review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Please like and subscribe.
Over here in the OSG Sports side of things, we talk football. FOOTBALL. College football version here with the college football review every single week. But for those of you that like not just football with 2 O's, but football with a U, FUTBOL, there's the Soccer Down Here Network. I'm John Nelson. I host the morning show on Soccer Down Here along with Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Jason Longshore. And if you're looking for the best information when it comes to the world of soccer, based in the southeastern United States, but we don't leave anything off the table. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever. Sometimes we go for a while. SDH Network morning show, soccer's morning show, Monday through Friday, plus all the live events we do. It is your place and your source for soccer that is based in the Southeast, but covers everything on the world. SoccerDownHere.net, the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android through our friends at Spreaker. That's like speaker with an R in the middle. Spreaker, do a search for OSG Sports. Do a search for Soccer Down Here. All the soccer content all in one place. It is the SDH Network and Soccer Down Here.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody. You have made it to the second half of the show. Guys, last week was busy. This coming week is going to be even busier as we kind of get into the heart of the month of November. And every game in a conference that actually could mean something in your overall positioning as teams jockey for bowl berths and a chance to make the college football playoff.
Pshaw.
Yes. Some interesting matchups here. couple that we'll start with on Saturday, which features some ranked teams. Probably one of the bigger ones, Georgia traveling to Oxford, Mississippi to take on Ole Miss.
Get in price at 2.25 at the Grove. So you know the desirability of this one. I think once again, this will be a game, whatever the number is, where it will be Georgia winning, Ole Miss covering, and Kirby doesn't care, and Carson Beck will give you a good 2 interception day before the running game takes over in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, both teams frighteningly inconsistent this year. They've shown signs of being absolutely dominant, and then they've shown signs where pretty much anybody could beat them.
Check.
Yeah, I'm seeing a Georgia win and a Lane Kiffin meltdown.
there goes the headset. There goes the game plan. The game plan goes into the air.
Ole Miss covers and he breaks a headset.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
Can I get a headset break on a parlay?
I think you probably could. There's probably somebody that could take it. That can take that kind of action. I'm sure you could go there. So headset's broken.
Got to visit my old hometown of Youngstown. You can find those there.
Absolutely. I think the headset break at over under at +0.5 and whatever the number is. I think you can get a parlay somewhere for that.
See if we can get our friends at ClearCom to sponsor that one.
Maybe offshore, but sure.
I think when it comes to the score, take the over in this game. I think a lot of points are going to be put on the board.
Yeah.
Some other games with some meaning, particularly here in the SEC. Alabama travels to Death Valley to take on LSU. A 7:30 kickoff on
night game.
Night game in Baton Rouge. Is there anything louder?
Night game red stick. I'm going LSU in that one because I think the family will take over.
Damn it. You take all my picks. Red Stick's going to be tuned up. They're going to be drunk on Thursday.
Oh, they're going to
Friday.
They're going to get there early, brother. They're going to get there early. They're going to get started. It's going to be. You want to talk about a bathtub that's got a lot of lather in it from all the soap that's going to get used between Thursday and Saturday night. You want to talk an audience in a lather. Somebody at the U.S. Geological Survey needs to be sure.
Yeah, I was going to say that the geology department's going to be getting the Richter scale on that game.
LSU outright.
Stuff's going to be falling off the top of that stadium from the shaking going on.
You ain't kidding.
I'm going to buck the trend and go with Alabama in this game, but I think it's going to be a nail biter.
Ooh.
Just remember, when you lose against another SEC team, it's only half a loss.
Yes. We'll drift over to the ACC for a game that I think might be a little bit more interesting than some people are going to give it credit for. Miami travels up to Atlanta to take on a very feisty Georgia Tech team that should be getting their quarterback Haynes King back.
Nah. The University of Coral Gables takes care of this one. I think they find a way. I think they're just too fast on the edges. Probably starts out slow, but I think that Miami covers by the time we're done. Cam Ward puts up another number, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech's not going to do anything. The most interesting about this game is the tickets are for sale for, what's it going for there? $69.
Ooh, nice.
Could be an interesting matchup. Some other games of note here as we go down the list. Marty's favorite team, Michigan, traveling to Indiana.
Ooh.
Get
in price $227. Good luck getting a ticket. That's all I can say.
Memorial Stadium in Bloomington will be rocking a prime afternoon game on CBS at 3.
Wait, what was that sentence that you just said?
Prime time.
No. Before that, what was this last sentence that you just said? Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana will be rocking.
Yes.
You don't get to say that often.
No. Good on them. I hope that they put up a crushing number in this one. As right now is 13 as we are getting together for this.
If they have the opportunity, you think they're going to run it up?
You yourself were talking, Marty, about the tiebreakers and points and point differentials and things like that. I mean,
and there's also the getting back at somebody that was cheating for 3 straight years.
It never plays a factor.
Oh no!
Oh, never. No, could not be. No,
Yeah.
I think that Indiana. I think Indiana probably once again. I think they start out slow. I think they just barely break the cover. Take the under because that means that if you're thinking over, that means you think Michigan's going to score points. I don't know if they do. So I'll take Indiana to cover, take the under.
Not unless they have open tryouts on Michigan's campus to find another quarterback or find a quarterback, not another, but one that can actually throw.
A quarterback.
Guys, here's an interesting matchup for you in SEC action. South Carolina travels to Nash Vegas to take on Vanderbilt.
Prime letdown game for South Carolina, considering what happened this past week against ATM. I could see a 7-win Vandy here. I could see this happen. This is prime letdown territory for me, Marty. He's thinking. He's thinking.
I see the gears moving in your head.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out how to say it.
I don't know. I'm not going to touch this one.
No? You don't want to talk about big clock energy?
One of the gears in my head is how many of my nieces and nephews watch this podcast. I'm just going to refrain from saying something stupid and being uninvited from Thanksgiving meals.
Marty's moving on because it's too easy to make to make a crack.
The fruit's too low hanging. Might be
rotten.
rotten.
Absolutely true. Because you don't want to make a crack about anything having to do with a Gamecock. So there you go.
Here's another one for you guys, and I'm curious
I used my allotment
about it. Colorado travels to Lubbock, Texas to take on Texas Tech.
Take the over. Take the first half over. Take the over in general. I think that, and I think once again for Texas Tech, it might be another letdown game considering what they did this past week. So I think that they might be prime for picking, shall we say? So I got to go with Colorado for the win outright on the road.
Have you been to that stadium in Lubbock, which is literally in the middle of nowhere?
Loud stadium.
Yes. Definitely a place worth going to see a game if you haven't seen one before. Although this one, it's going to cost you $220 as of right now to get into it.
They're going to have a crowd. Yeah, I think Tech's going to get loud. I don't think they're going to have a problem getting up for this game. With all they're going to hear all week is Dion this, Dion that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to get worked up and sneak out a win.
Yeah, the get-in price at $241 at Tiger Stadium, Alabama, 2.5, 58.5 as we're talking. $241 to get in to go see something at Red Stick.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see that.
Talk about that on liquor on their tailgates by themselves.
Guys, speaking of prices to get into games, it's time to talk about everybody's favorite segment, college football on a budget.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's where we talk about games that you could get into for roughly the price of a large soda, which covers more games than you think it would.
Mm-hmm.
And a chance for you to see a little college football action in a place you wouldn't normally get to go. Yeah. We'll start off with some MAC action on a Tuesday.
That's MACtion, sir.
Action.
Bowling Green at Central Michigan at Kelly Short Stadium in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Your get-in price for that one a week out, $8.
Ding. Ding, ding, ding.
Bowling That's a double ding.
Yeah. Bowling Green's a 10-point favorite, 51.5. I don't think Kelly Shorts has been on the grid this year, so that's why I'm doing a ding. So once again, Kelly Shorts is on for the first time. Ding it and go.
Yep, your best football in Michigan this year, the directional Michigan schools.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And speaking of that,
where's Waldo? Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yep. Northern Illinois travels to Where's Waldo Stadium in Kalamazoo. Wednesday night, 7:00 kickoff on ESPN2. Right now, your get-in price for that, if you want to go see it in person, $9.
Ding.
I'm
saying no until Western Michigan says who that guy with the sunglasses was on their sideline.
That's true. Yeah. See, Marty, in true investigative journalistic fashion, he is looking from the outside in. So Western Michigan 1.5, 52.5. You don't have to ask where's Waldo if you go. Waldo, I think, is another first timer, so that's why I am dinging. Marty, being the investigative journalistic soul that he is saying no.
Yeah, I'm dinging just for the simple fact I want to be able to say that I've been to Kalamazoo.
Where's Waldo? Kalamazoo!
As an aside note here, the Battle of Ohio University traveling to Kent State. You're getting price at Dick's Stadium in Kent, $11.
I don't want to know about Dixon Kent because we've already been there this year. And
Yeah, we've
let's
been to Kent. I'm going to say no. If it was at Ohio, I'd definitely go. That is a top tier, just beautiful town, beautiful campus. But
at the
Kent's
other.
Kent.
Yes. So yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to know about anybody else's dicks. Okay.
It's Akron with hippies.
Yeah.
I'm about to
Moving
get some hate
on.
mail for that one, but
Yeah.
tell me I'm wrong and I'll take it back.
Moving on to Thursday. Whoa. Florida Atlantic traveling to East Carolina.
Mhm.
Get to see a chance to go to Greenville, North Carolina, see a game in beautiful Dowdy Ficklen Stadium. You're getting price for
Dowdy
that
Ficklin.
$5.
Yeah, that's a ding for Marty. Conditionally, if you've been,
Spend some money in the Carolinas. They need it.
yeah, go play some golf, get that done before the winter hits. So I would say I think Dowdy Ficklin has been on the show before this year. If you went earlier in the season because of a recommendation, conditional ding. If you have not, so if you want to go meet Dowdy and Ficklin, please go to Greenville.
Ooh,
Go
some
for the
Friday,
football, stay for the golf.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
little Friday All Coast Conference action. University of California travels to Winston-Salem to take on Wake Forest. An 8 o'clock kickoff on the ACC network. You're getting price for that one if you want to go see it, $9.
Allegacy Federal Credit Union Stadium in Winston-Salem. No thanks.
God, you have to have 2 cups to fit that name on it.
I know. You got to get
Buy a
the
6-pack.
really. I know. So I will Pasadena on that one.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it.
been to Winston-Salem, was not impressed. Gonna pass on that one too. Moving on down the list here, we get to Saturday. If you want to spend a fall afternoon up in beautiful Boston, or Chestnut Hill to be more specific, Syracuse taking on Boston College. You're getting price at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, $11. This is the time of year, guys, where the leaves are falling from the ground and a chance to experience fall and all its fall greatness.
Nah, my interest is falling in that one.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, conditional ding for me because Alumni Stadium has been on football on a budget before. If you've been and you did it when the the fall colors were changing, then you're covered. If you haven't been while fall colors are changing, recommend going. Once again, $11, and it's a big matchup in the ACC with Syracuse. So conditional ding, so it might be a tink. But
Chin chin.
uh-huh.
We've had this one on before too, but it's another game in beautiful Murfreesboro as Liberty comes in to take on Middle Tennessee. You're getting price at Johnny Red Floyd Stadium, $6.
Yeah.
Rename the segment after Conference USA, I think.
Yes. Once again, conditional. It would be a tink if you have not been to Johnny Red Floyd and you want to go see some action with Conference USA, then recommended to go. I believe that is the southernmost White Castle restaurant in the United States.
You piqued my interest a little bit with that.
Yeah, so it's right there off the main exit, and then you kind of work your way into campus proper. So you get off the exit, you get your White Castle, you go to Johnny Red Floyd. If you've done that already this year, well done. You visited Middle Tennessee State because they did have some Tuesday games that were like right there at $6. I think Kennesaw was one of them, but it's another tink for me. If you've been, good on you. If you haven't, go for it.
I'm going to pass. We've had too many Conference USA games. I want to visit some new and exciting conferences.
New and exciting places.
Okay, guys, I've got one for you here that we haven't been to and is not a Conference USA game. San Jose State travels to Corvallis, Oregon to take on Oregon State. You're getting price at Reser Stadium, $9.
Ding. Absolutely.
Definitely a ding for that.
Definitely a ding.
I'll wear my pack hat. I'm in.
Yeah. So no, I think that I think we're
I like
right.
that one.
Absolutely.
Good place to go in November. And those are really your low price games This week, I'll mention a couple of others, a little bit more expensive. Fresno State at Air Force in beautiful Colorado Springs at Falcon Stadium. Getting price for that $13.
Yeah, absolutely. Colorado Springs. See the walk-in of the cadets. Absolutely. No, it's a great environment, especially with the mountain range behind you and everything, snow-capped peaks, all that kind of stuff, and you get to see something at the Air Force Academy. So very, very cool. Absolutely. Dang.
Hey, don't forget our friends down in 1AA.
Yes, I'm staring right at them. I'm staring.
I'm looking at one that I've got some interest in.
I'm staring. There's plenty to play with.
Youngstown
Let's
State
go.
at Southern Illinois,
Oh.
Saluki Stadium. Not sure what else there is to do in Carbondale, but I'm digging that one for $4.
$4. Ding, ding, ding,
Whoa.
ding. Absolutely. I mean, we got a lot of the Ivy League action. Brown and Yale at Yale Bowl for 11 gives you the chance to go see a game in a historic venue like Yale Bowl. $11 for Brown and Yale.
And don't forget, they started discussing this week of letting them play in the, instead of just doing the Ivy League championship, actually putting themselves out there for the 1AA championships.
See,
University of Albany
Topical.
at Stony Brook, $7 to get into Kenneth P. Laval Stadium in Stony Brook.
Stony Brook has been on Football on a Budget in the past. Once again, it's a tink. If you've been, good on you.
I'm in regardless.
Campus Field, Fairfield, Connecticut, LIU and Sacred Heart for $11 on a noon kick. Delaware Stadium, once again, Rhode Island and Delaware. That's a tink because we've had Delaware Stadium on in the past. We know that Wilkie's better half, Kat, being the Delaware alum, would be going to that one at Rhode Island and Delaware.
Illinois State at Northern Iowa, $8 at the UNI Dome.
Yeah, you got to go to the Uni Dome once in your life and see what's up there. That's a 2:00 kick in Cedar Falls. But
that's a nice barn, but I'm not going to go.
Uni Dome for $8. That's definitely there. Forterra Stadium to catch up with our buddy Brian Reeves at Austin P. Fly is open. Let's go P. Abilene Christian and Austin P. 4:00 Eastern kick at Forterra, $11.
Clarksville, Tennessee, for those of you wondering where that is at home.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
There's one train going there.
Oh.
Oh, man. I did not.
Hey, I'm a monkey.
And people say you monkey around. Absolutely true.
Yeah, Clarksville, about 45 minutes north of Nashville.
Yes. And so widen your horizons, folks. If you've never been to any of these places that we mentioned for Football on a Budget and your team might be outpricing you for a week and it's within driving distance, or shoot, maybe you want to hop on a plane, go for it and enjoy yourself. Go to these places that we talk about to share experiences and gain experiences all across the board. That's why we do it every week.
Cheaper than a high school game in a lot of cases.
True. Absolutely true. And by the way, good on Tulane because, I mean, Tulane has been on Football on a Budget numerous times this year. Get-in price, and I don't know why. Maybe it's tied to some kind of a celebration in New Orleans or something. There might be something going on. Get-in price at Yeoman Stadium for Temple and Tulane, $93. $93 to get into Temple and Tulane, and I don't know why, but good on them. For
93, not 9 or 3. Both prices we've had them at.
Correct. Correct. Tickets
That is
low.
crazy.
Is it because of those helmets they broke out this week?
Oh, that'd be amazing. I mean, I don't know, but legitimately, lower level, $93 each to get in. That's a get-in price for Temple and Tulane at Yeoman.
That's a marked up price for a Tulane game.
2% of the tickets are left. Maybe it's the homecoming game. I don't know, and everybody's coming back to celebrate homecoming or something. But 2%.
Free beignets, possibly.
Hey, see? I mean, if you had like breakfast certificates for mothers, it's like you walk in the door, you get a mother's gift certificate. That would be epic. But yeah, only 2% of the tickets are left at Yeoman. Get-in price of $93. Congratulations. You guys are having a great year. And now it's a big old price to get folks in the door. I hope that place is sold out.
Nice.
Guys, what do you say we put a wrap on things this week? And we've talked a lot and hopefully given some people some thoughts, some things to think about with their favorite team, looking at what happened in week number 10 and looking ahead, more importantly, to week number 11 as the season winds down. When we come back and see you the next time, guys, we'll have an idea of who the top 12 teams in the first playoff poll is.
So will
Meeting
not.
maybe.
We will.
How long it's meaningful for remains to be seen. It's a
exactly
new world.
1 week.
1 week.
It's a new world. We still got a couple of weeks to go. Some big games ahead. Rivalry week is almost upon us. And the college football world still has some shaking to do before we figure out who's going to be playing for the title. So for OSG Nelson and Brother Marty, I am Brother Phil. We are part of the Online Sports Guys college football team. Make sure you tune in midweek for the College Football X. It's where Brother John and Brother Wilkie talk to college football newsmakers about a variety of topics, some good interviews, good information. The Lawrence Sisler interview this past week was fantastic, John.
Very cool. It was great to catch up with Lauren. By the way, subtle promotion. There's the book. Shatterproof right there. How I overcame the shame of losing my parents to opioid addiction, found my sideline shimmy. Get it, buy it, read it. Good stuff. There's your plug.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week. Let your friends know about our podcast because we want people to what, Marty?
Please like and subscribe.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.